some guy came up to him and he wanted to say piyutim. They said what? Why they want to print a new machzor without piyutim? He said, "What? I'm going to take away the simcha of a guy that can, move forward, fast forward through a couple pages."
Simon,
Yeah.
the recording sound is basically time to mute yourself.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, that's a nice way.
I wish I could mute you.
In case you didn't get it, I wanted
Hey,
to
Parrots,
spell it out.
Parrots, I love you. Parrots, I just want you to know I love you.
I love you too, baby. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too.
Parrots, how about me?
We have Thanksgiving.
Do we have Thanksgiving in South Bend?
Silence.
They're still living. They're still living
Yeah.
with the same clothes that they came with Mayflower over here in some parts.
I hear. So is it Avodah Zarah or is it not Avodah Zarah?
It's the best. It's the best meal of the year. I don't care what it is. Oh, he's gone.
All right, Simon, I'll take the recording off. You can start again.
What was I saying before? I don't recall.
I don't know, but I like hitting the recording and cutting everybody off.
I hear. All right, I'm sorry I'm late, so let's go. Right.
Whoops. I guess I'm not restarting it.
Ready? It's recording or it's not recording?
Yeah, you're good. I think it's recording. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so we're still on the bottom of Yud Aleph from the base. Right? Amar Rav Chisda. So I guess we could just start from Yud Beis Amar Aleph. So Amar Rav Chisda. Right, a lot of halacha l'maisa tonight. Hoda Amrit B'sanin l'shois. Right, so this that we say that you can make a taanis for hours. Ushaloi tom klum ada erev. That's only if you don't taste anything until the evening. So Rav Chisda is saying an interesting thing. He's saying that if you want to make a taanis shois, the taanis shois means a half-day fast. He says you can only make a half-a-day fast if you don't eat till the night. Right? Meaning, which is basically he's saying that there's no such thing as a half-a-day fast. Right? So that's exactly what Abai asked. Somebody Abai, hatanis taanis maliyasah.
Jacob, I Erev Rosh Hashanah.
What?
Erev Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, so Enochanami. So I don't know what he would say about that. I mean, Lamaisa, we say that there is such a concept of a half-a-day fast.
And not by us, because Gershon Russell makes a siyum and you're good to go.
Correct, Avada. But Enochanami, I don't know. He would say that there's not. I don't think it would work according to Rav Chisda. I think you're 100% right. Right. So.
Well, is that what he's saying, or he's? I mean, the way Rashi puts it, it's a little interesting. He's talking about where you weren't Makabel Tainus the day before. But it could be that according to him, if I was Makabel Tainus the day before until Chatzos, maybe that would be.
But he's saying you have to.
Yeah, if I wasn't Makabel Tainus by Mincha, and I decided the day that I'm fasting to be Makabel Tainus, because I already fasted till Chatzos. So now I want to be Makabel Tainus. So then if I'm being Makabel Tainus now, it has to be for the rest of the day. If I was Makabel Tainus the day before by Mincha, I could be Makabel Tainus until Chatzos.
I hear. I don't know. Maybe, but I'm saying, look at Abaya's kasha. Amalei Abaya, hot tainus maliyasi. If you're fasting till the night, so that's a regular tainus. What kind? That's not called tainus shois.
Look, it could be that without a Kabbalah, that's also considered a tainus.
Oh, so let's see. So that's sort of like, so that's what the Gemara's teretz is sort of like tzricha the imlechem luchi. He changed his mind, meaning he just decided to start fasting at chatzos. Right? Meaning he was busy and he didn't eat. Then he wakes up, or that's probably a more common thing. A guy wakes up by chatzos, right? A bacher wakes up by chatzos and says, "Oh, look at that! I already fasted half a day. I might as well go all the way." Right? In the winter, especially. So then Rav Chisda is saying, if you change your mind and you want to consider it a fast, then you can't fast. You can't eat until nightfall. Okay, so the kol tainis shalei shakol of chama leif shmei tainis. Any tainis that does not have shkia, meaning if you ate before it says, then that's not a tainis. Right? Shaila is exactly which shkia, of course. Which shkia are we talking about? Ayin Tosfos about that. So Meisvei Anshe Mishmar Masan V'Loi Mashlimin. So the kasha is that the Anshe Mishmar, right? The people, there were 24 Mishmaros of Kehanim, and they fasted when they were on duty. Masan and V'Loi Mash. We say so Masan and V'Loi Mashlimin. So they fast, but they don't finish the fast. So this is a kasha on Rav Chisda, because you see that there is such a thing as a half a day fast, right? So Gemara answers Hasam l'tzuure nafshe. No, they were doing it to make themselves have pain. Since they were just doing it to make themselves have pain, right? Then it's fine. Yeah. So meaning not fine, meaning that's you want to cause yourself pain, so you can cause yourself pain. What I don't understand with this is there a point to causing yourself pain? Is there a point? I mean,
they were Navardikas.
No, I'm saying, is it what if you're causing yourself pain? So then why can't you just decide? You know what? I ate breakfast. You say, you know what? I just heard of a tzara. I'm not eating till supper. Right? Are you a good man if you do that?
Does that mean it? Does it mean anything? Or like, what did you do? You fasted for 5 hours, 6 hours from breakfast to supper. You fasted.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
No. What's?
Yeah, I'm saying you made it like I'm not eating snacks.
What did you? What? So I'm saying, great.
Jacob, that's
you
a pretty
accomplish?
easy sacrifice. I would sign up for that.
What? It's a great for weight loss, but what'd you accomplish?
Maybe
you withheld something you wanted.
No, so that's the question. Right, look at if you see Rashi. Rashi says you're causing yourself pain with the tzibur, right? But it's not considered a fast, not for anenu, and that is no chiyuv, and you can eat whenever you want.
It has no halachic
right?
status as a fast, but you're doing something for the tsar of other people.
Oh, so is that what it is? That would meaning in Shemayim. No, so in Shemayim, right? Let's say you accept yourself a fast. On a half-day fast. You accepted it on yourself mincha before, and I didn't, but I decide that I'm causing myself tsar and I'm not eating. Are we both getting the same reward? Not that this is about reward. I'm just trying to bring out the meaning, are we both accomplishing the
Klape Shmai, you're withholding something that you want for somebody else. That's what you're doing. I don't know what's chad. That you have to
I'm saying, so Klape Shemayim. No, I'm not. I know we're not here deciding. What I'm trying to say is,
what is that? It's heavy. What does that mean? I can decide. I'm not going to go on vacation because I'm with somebody else, so I'm going to get scarred for that.
You can decide that somebody else.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Well, Yom Kippur is used the lashon inui. I mean, it says inui.
Uh-huh.
So
The only thing.
The only difference I would say, you're accomplishing something. That's the lashon by Yom Kippur. Inui.
Okay.
So
right,
that means so essentially, so that means essentially the whole difference is whether you could say anenu and whether you're allowed to stop eating.
Correct.
That's it. Other than that, you're doing the same thing.
Right.
So why would anybody?
I would say the ones.
Can I ask you a question? Why would anybody accept the fast on themselves? Why would you ever do that? Just don't eat, and you know what? Like this, you have in the middle of the day.
Maybe today you might not say. So somebody heard a tzara and is doing something for Yemen. That's what it's all about.
Okay, so then why would you ever accept the fast on yourself? Why would you ever do that? Why do you need that stress? Good, so you don't say anenu? Okay. Why do you need that stress? Like this, if you have a massive headache, if you accepted the fast on yourself, you can't drink. If you didn't accept the fast on yourself, you could drink. Right? Because you never accepted it. So
I would argue it's the opposite way around. The Taanis, with Hilchas Taanis, has been Adam Lamakim. This has been Adam L'Chaveiroi. If anything, I'm more stressed with this than with the real Taanis. If I'm on the darga to fast, because I'm just
I just don't understand. I have always had a hard time understanding this. That why would anybody be makabel a fast on themselves?
if you break the fast, you did something wrong? No.
Yes, of course. If you're makabel tainis,
Well, how you makabel? What halachic status does it have?
and if you're
Neder.
makabel tainis mincha before the fast, then
I'm
it's a
not-
real legitimate. Yes, you have to be mater neder. You can't. You go.
I
You could be over
understand,
this
but I understand, but if I decided in the morning or in the afternoon that I want to fast the rest of the day, time is
That's
short.
nothing. You could
It's
do whatever
nothing.
you want. You could eat, not eat, whatever you want.
But that's
But if
what's
you-
happening.
Right, but you're makabel a fast the afternoon before mincha before you say tomorrow I'm fasting. That means it's a legitimate fast, and if you end up eating, you're over on a daraisa
The right?
of a neder. Yeah, you're going against a neder. So I'm saying if that's the same thing, so then why would you ever do it? Okay, I don't know. I don't have this. I never understood this.
Reb
I never
Yaakov,
understood it.
I've
Yeah.
never said this before, but it's just to make a point in this year. Otherwise, I would never say it. But there have been times when you would appreciate it when I'm supposed to go to a Met game, and Hashem Yerachem, there was terrorist attack in Eretz Yisrael, so I didn't go to the game.
Yeah, very good, right? And the Chanami, right? So exactly. Yeah, that's a very nice zach. Yeah. Halavai by all of us should Yeah. But yeah, it's a good lesson to be learned. So I'm saying
Could be going to the Met game is more tsar.
It depends what time of the season you go. Depends when.
That's what I'm saying. Depends. Some years,
Yes,
some years going is more tsar.
As a Yankee
Most
fan,
years,
going to a
most-
Met game would be a lot of fun.
most years it would be it's tsar. But that's what we say about causing yourself tsar and a chanami. So I don't know. We already mentioned the Mishna Brura that said I think we said it 2-3 days ago that says that if you're in the middle of a meal, gishmak a meal, and you stop eating and you leave food over that you're really really enjoying, can be more of a sacrifice than fasting, right? And I know that to be true, like I said then, because I could never do it. I'd rather fast for 3 days than stop a meal in the middle.
Isn't
But,
that-
Aaron, when you left Toma, was that share? Was that what you were doing?
That could be. That could be.
No.
Yeah.
I left because I finished eating and I finished benching.
Come on, you could have got good credit. Anyway,
Rabanan,
okay, but
Rabanan,
that's,
you leave
okay,
over
that's,
Rabanan, you leave over a piece of a $250 steak that's a whole of 4 ounces. That's a lot. Imagine you leave over that piece and you really want to eat it and it costs you $250.
Okay, but I finished my wife's steak by lunch the next day. It's okay.
Very good. Yeah. Okay, so let's see back to Tashima. Yeah, so now we ask more kashas on Taanis shows. Damar Rabbi Eliezer ben Tzadok, Ani b'nei banav shel Sinov ben Binyamin. I'm from the grandchildren of Sinov ben Binyamin, right? Who we had before. Upam achas chal tesbav. They son of Ben Binyamin. The story with them was that they donated the wood when there was a shortage. They donated all the wood to the Beis Hamikdash. So they gave them 1 day a year, which was Yurav, as their day. So Upam achas chal Tisha B'av liyos b'Shabbos. So with the Chinul Achar Shabbos, they pushed Tisha B'av to after Shabbos, which was their Yom Tiv. Right? He says, and we fasted but we didn't finish the fast. Because it was our Yom Tiv. Right? Because it was their Yom Tiv, that's the day they got to give all the wood to the Mizbeach that day. So what do you see? That they still fasted, but they didn't finish the fast. So what was the point? According to Rav Chisda, what was the point? Meaningless. Right? So the Gemara answers also, they were just doing it to be mitzar themselves, to be with Klal Yisrael, because the rest of Klal Yisrael was fasting. So they also fasted, but they didn't fast the whole day. It's a Tashima. Adam Rabbi Yochanan.
So they didn't fast that year? So that year they didn't fast?
Yeah. For that year they didn't fast. Which there is precedence for this, because on a Tisha B'av Nidcha, if somebody makes a bris, Me'ikar Adin after Mincha, or after Chatzos, really, then they could break their fast. The Sandik, the Moyel, and the Avi Ben. As far as I know, I think what?
Be'ikra Adin?
Yeah. As far as I know, I think they don't do it. I think they don't do it Bisman Hazeh, but Me'ikar Adin, they can. right?
And
Only because it's a nidcha. Only because it's a nidcha.
And they have to be mashlim?
No. But not on a regular Tisha B'Av.
Fleishiks too?
I don't remember. If they could have
It's mitzvah.
What
No.
else are they going to eat by a bris if not for fleishiks?
Said like a true Phoenix Hasidic yid.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But anyways,
Point of order, he made a fleshing breast in Shayashav too. So
listen, he's a man that stands behind his word.
behind his
Right.
convictions, right?
By my Anikel's bris, I'll let just everybody know I had fleishiks in the middle of Corona. Everybody else had milchiks. I had fleishiks. Anyways, fine. So Toshma Adomer of Yochanan, Ahoba Tainis at Sha'abi Lebesi. He said, I'm staying in the Tainis until I get home. See, also, he did a partial day fast. So I'm going to answer, and it was called the Tainis. So I'm going to answer Hasim the Shemutze Nafshem Ibein David. Right, quite an interesting thing. He was trying to escape from eating food by the Nassi's house. I have no idea why not. Right? He didn't want. Basically, he told him, I'm fasting. Right? He told him he's fasting. So then they said, oh, you can't join us for lunch. So Mamela, that's the only reason why he said he was fasting.
That cost Rabbi Yanka 50 years worth of Canadian.
Right. What was it? Was it Canadalach that it was?
Yeah. He told he was by people. He said he doesn't eat kabraks, but he really did. But for some reason, he was a bach. He was by these people for yontif, whatever. He didn't want. I don't know. And he said he doesn't eat kabraks, so that was it. He gave up kabraks the rest of his life. Yeah.
Right. That was It's pretty wild. Nice. Yeah. Okay, so weiter. So Amar Shmuel, kol tainus shaloi kibul mi ba'oidiyim lav shmei tainus. See again the same thing. If you're not makabel the tainus mi ba'oidiyim, meaning mincha before, it's not considered a tainus. Be yosef, and if you do sit in a tainus, what's the din? So listen to this. My Amar Rav Bar Shila dami lamafucha demal yazika. It's similar to a what do you call it? The thing that blows the air. A bellow, it's full of air. Right? Meaning he hasn't fasted, so his body doesn't have any food in it. Right? His body doesn't have food in it. It has air in it. So meaning.
So Yaakov, they're blowing up the balloons tonight.
Oh yeah, I would consider if I didn't have a chassan, I would consider taking my kids, but they don't go to school, so I can't. That much of a reward I can't do. Right. But so what's it from this Gemara? It's mashman. If you fast without being makabel, you did nothing. That's what it sounds like. So I don't know. Okay. I guess he doesn't look at it like a halachic fast. Yeah, fine. So Gemara says, Amos makbele. When are you makabel the fast? Rav Amar b'mincha. Rav says you have to do when you daven mincha. Right? Shmuel Amar b'tfilas mincha. No, I'm sorry. Rav says mincha time, right? Which is really 9.5 hours into the day. And Shmuel says b'tfilas mincha. You do it when you daven mincha. You can't just do it. You have to do it during Shemona Esrei, which is obviously like everything else. We pass in like Shmuel, and that's what you do when you makabel tainus. You makabel in Shemona Esrei. Before the end of Shemona Esrei, you say Harei ani makabel alai, whatever the lashon is that says that, and then the fast you makabel the fast. All right, Yosef Kavasei the Shmuel Mustavra. It makes sense like Shmuel. The chsiv migilas tainus lahen kol inish daisi alohi mikadmas deno. Right. So the Gemara is going to discuss this a lot now, but what it means is this is Aramaic. Any man that was makabel on himself before these days of fast, yi yasser, right? Or yasar, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. He's going to make it asr. Now, what does this mean? This means like, remember in migilas tainus, we learned this in Rosh Hashanah, that there was about 30-something days. There were like 30-something days where they made special holidays, which we don't have anymore except for Chanukah and Purim. So let's say somebody was makabel tanesim before they established these days as days that you're not allowed to fast. So what's the din then? So the Gemara seems to be saying that you don't have to, you can continue fasting. So, well, let's see. The Gemara is discussing my love. What must this mean? Yeser atzmei bitzlu. He only asks himself from davening. Right? So the Gemara says, Loi, yeser atzmei. I'm sorry, did I skip? No. So he says, Loi yeser atzmei. He's not going to answer himself. Yeah? Meaning he's not going to ask himself from accepting fast by the mincha the day before. Let's see how this is. So this is Machlokes, exactly what the Gemara means. Pligi, Baha, Reb Chia, Reb Shimon ben Rebbe. They have a Machlokes between Reb Chia and Reb Shimon ben Rebbe exactly what this means. Chad Omar Yaser, that he is going to make Aser. The Chad Omar Yeyaser, he is Aser. Right? Man Omar the Yaser, the one that says that he's going to make Aser Kadarmina, like we said. Right? So he has to stop himself from eating, and he has to be makabel the fast by mincha the day before. Laman Dama Yasser, the one that says Yasser Mahi, what does that mean? That he's Aser? The Tanya, the migilas Taanis, right? We learned in migilas Taanis, Kol Inish, the Yasi Aloi, Ekadmas Dana, Yasser. Anybody who was makabel on himself a fast from before this is Aser. Ketzad, what's the case? Yachid Shekibel Alav, Yachid was makabel on himself, Sheni v'chamishi v'sheni. Let's say a guy was makabel on himself that every Monday, Thursday, Monday of the whole year he fasts. Now that's why the sheni is in parentheses, because if you're makabel on yourself to fast every Monday, Thursday, Monday, then it's just every Monday, Thursday of the whole year. Right? Normally a series of fasts is Monday, Thursday, Monday. Here he's fasting every Monday and Thursday of the year. So there's no point in saying Monday, Thursday, Monday. He was just makabel on himself the whole year to fast Monday, Thursday. Then they come up with these migilas Taanis.
Why couldn't it be 12 Bahabs? Sheni v'chamishi v'sheni is the first of the month.
No, but he says Shokol Hashana Kula.
Yes, 12 Bahabs. The first Monday, Thursday, Monday of the month.
Is that okay? Is that what it is? Maybe. I don't think so. That's what you learned it? Is that what you?
No, I'm saying if you have Sheni v'chamishi v'sheni, if you gyrus that, it would be 12. If you gyrus without, it would be every week.
Right, I hear. Anyways, okay, so let's see. So if let's say he was makabel on himself, the Yerubam Yamim Tovim Maksum Migilas Taanis, and then on these Mondays and Thursdays, one of the Yamim Tovim, one of these 30 Yamim Tovim, fell out on that. So Im Nidru. If he made a neder before the gezerah, yavtil nidroi es gezerah, then his neder, meaning he made a neder that he's going to fast. So his neder pushes off the our gezerah, right? Meaning even without, even if he wasn't makabel, but if our gezerah came before he made his neder to fast, then tevato gezerah senu es nidroi. Our gezerah, meaning these yamim tovim, migilas Taanis, are going to bounce his neder.
Is this the halachic version of something being grandfathered in?
It sounds like that. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I mean, he accepted. So that's Tosfos actually. Tosfos says he doesn't have to make it up, but Rashi says he doesn't have to make it up, and the re is masupik. Maybe he does have to make it up. Maybe he has to pay it back. Okay. Until when could he eat and drink? It's meaning when you makabel yourself a fast and you're fasting that day, when does the fast start? So until Amud Shachar. Right? Meaning you're allowed to eat the whole night. Divrei Rebbe. Until the rooster crows. Which we said in Yuma, there's different rooster crows. What?
Is that later? Later in the life?
Kreisa Gever is later, right? Isn't it? I think there's a few different versions of Kreisa Gever. There's different versions.
We went through that whole sugya. When they're gonna, in Yuma we had that.
So okay, whatever it is,
I think Rashi
What?
learns here it's before. It's before Alois.
I remember.
Rashi
what's
says
it
even
called?
the first one.
Right, but why does that mean before? How do you know it's before?
First one is before. We had there. The
No,
first
but then he
time it
says
crows is before.
right. So okay, she Yishalish. Maybe it's till the third. Okay. Whatever it is, it's you're according to this, you're allowed to eat. You're allowed to get up early before Alois, right? And you're allowed to you're allowed to eat. So I'm gonna buy it. That's only if you didn't finish your meal. But if you finished your meal, like once you said Birchas Hamazon, then you're not allowed to eat anymore because you finished eating. So Eisvei Rava Gomar V'Amar Hareze Eichel. So Rava said, even if you finished eating, you're still allowed to eat. So you see that you don't accept the fast even though the meal's over. So Hasam Kishalei Siluk, no, that's somewhere where you didn't remove the table. We know that the meal is not over until you remove the table. Once you remove the table, then the meal's over and then you're no longer allowed to eat. So according to this, once you eat supper the night before a fast, then you're done. Right? Then you can once you remove the table, then you can no longer eat. Right? So let's see now. Ikadamri, Omarova.
1 second. Even if you have a mind, you're going to eat again later.
So that we have the Gemara. Let's see that. We'll get to that. So Omarova, Loy Shanu Elikishal Loy Yishan. That's all. Loy Yashin. I'm sorry. Well, you didn't sleep. Yashin. Einoi Eichel. If you sleep, then you're not allowed. When you wake up, you're not allowed to. Right? So which okay, so then how do we get up nowadays and eat before Alois? Imagine that fast that's coming up in a couple of weeks, right? It starts very late. I mean, a lot of chevra are eating, right? So what they say is, because we paskin like this, so what they say, poskim say is that if you have in your head that you're not makabel the fast until the morning, until Alois, then you're okay. Because you never made it that your meal is over, which is the default by me always. My meal's never over. So,
but then you're eating. Let's just say that you're eating 5 a.m. You're eating 10 hours later.
Yeah, meaning you never accepted the fast on yourself.
I understand that, but it's not like you're still eating your meal. Then you had 10 hours in between.
Anochanami. Right. So by the way, the Arizal doesn't like it. He says, no, you can't do this. He said like what you're saying, that you can't eat in the morning.
I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Me too. But that's you're supposed to have it in your mind.
Seems like there's a machlokes here whether we view this halacha as a din in Suda Mafsekes or Haschalas Atainis. If it's a Suda Mafsekes, then as soon as you get up, you're done. Even if you master them later, it doesn't help.
Right, but a regular Suda Mafsekes, we also say that you should have in mind that when you say Birchas Hamazon, you're not being makabel the fast.
I think that's because in general we hold that it's the other way around. That this halakha is based on starting the fast. Nothing to do with Suda Mafsekes. So when the fast starts is when I'm makabel it. So even if I have a Suda Mafsekes, which could be understood as a Haschalas Tainis, if I say I'm not starting the fast till later, so I'm not starting the fast till later.
Right. Okay, but I'm saying, okay, but that's sort of like a Tanai, right?
No, it's a Tanai, but it's only really because the Suda is called the Suda Mafsekes. The Suda Mafsekes, when I go into it, means I'm stopping to eat after this. That's Haschalas Tainis. That means that when I bench, that will be the beginning of my Tainis. So if I'm Masna, I'm saying, no, Haschalas Tainis is later.
Yeah. Okay, so let's divide. If you sleep and you get up, you're allowed to eat. So you see clearly you're not makabel the fast when you sleep. So my answer is no. Hasam b'misnamne. They're talking about where you dozed off. What does it mean misnamne? I'm a Ravashi on Tamar Beis now. Nim veloy nim, you're up, but you're not up. You know what I'm saying? You're sleeping and you're not sleeping. Tir veloy tir, you're up, but you're not up. What does that mean? The Karo Levani, you call him and you answer, veloy yada, dure svara, but you don't know how to answer a svara. V'chi midkar ilay, midkar. But when they remind him, then he's considered reminded and he remembers. Yeah? Fine. So, but if it's a full sleep, then you wouldn't be able to unless you make this tie that we're saying. Amar Rav Kahana, Amar Rav Yachid shekibul tainis also benilas a sandal. If a Yachid is makabel himself a fast, he is also to put on shoes. Chashin and Shema tainis tzibur kibul. Maybe he was really makabel on himself a tainis tzibur, meaning in all the chumras of a tainis tzibur. So heichi levet. So what should he do? Amar Rav Rashila lema hachi lemachar ahal lefanecha b'tainis Yachid. So to get out of having to not wear shoes, he should say, tomorrow I'm being makabel on myself a tainis yachid, a private tainis, not a public, and then he won't have this issue and then he could wear shoes. So Amrulei Rabanan the Rav Sheshes, Hakachazina Rabanan the Messiah Missanayu, Basel the Beit Tanisa. Right? We see that the Chachamim are wearing their shoes and they come into the house, meaning to a shul where they're fasting. Right? So Ikbid, and he was makbid. Rav Sheshes was upset. And he said to them, Dilma mechol nami ochel. Not only that, maybe they eat too. Right? Meaning they wanted to tell him, you see, you're allowed to wear shoes on a fast day. He said, nah, maybe these guys are not fasting at all. Right? Which, okay, maybe they went with the Gemara from yesterday that said that Talmidei Chacham shouldn't fast. Right? Okay, fine. Abai v'Rabba Maili ki misaimi afandasim. They were wearing the top part of their shoes, but not the bottom part. Yeah, merema, meaning they didn't have any soles on their shoes. Merema marzucho bechalfi the yamina l'smalu the smalu yamina. They swapped the right for the left and the left for the right, meaning because they wanted to show tsar with the people that were fasting. Rabanan devei Rav Ashi nafki ki yorchayu. They would go out the regular way when it was a fast day. Sabri ki had Amar Shmuel. They held like Shmuel that ain't tainis tzibur b'Bavel ela tisha b'Bavel. Because they held like Shmuel that there's no such thing as a tainis tzibur with all the chumras except for Tisha B'Av. So meaning they held that you don't have to keep all the chumras, which is the way we paskin, right? We know on a regular fast day we wear shoes, right? One can be with his wife, and this shouting is allowed, all those things, right? We're allowed to do that. Yeah, fine. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, loiva adam tanisa. A person can borrow his fast.
If a person has to wear shoes on Tisha B'Av because he doesn't have any other shoes,
yeah,
put the right on the left and the left on the right.
No, I don't think we say that. No, but it's not talking about Tisha B'Av. It's talking about other Tanaisim. They held like you're allowed to wear shoes, but they wanted to because everybody was wearing shoes, so they did that. Right? Fine. So Amar Rav, loiva adam tanisa. A person can borrow his fast to Pereya and he pays it back. Right? Meaning if you're supposed to fast on one day and you can't for whatever reason, so you pay it back. Ki amrisa kamei the Shmuel. When he said it to Shmuel, Amar Li, he told me v'chi nadar kibaloi that he was makabel himself a neder, the loy sagi, the loy mishalim, that it's that he has to. Well, it's really the way you teach it. It's not enough that it's a double negative. Not enough that he doesn't pay it back, meaning he has to pay it back. The tzurei nafshi kibaloi. He wasn't making a neder, right? He was just deciding to cause himself pain. He matzi mitzar nafshe. So if he could find to be mitzar himself, then good. He like matzi le mitzar nafshe. If he can't be mitzar himself, so he can't. What's the big deal, right? So he's holding that it's not a nether. You don't have to pay it back. A person could borrow his tiniest and pay it back. Yeah.
This Machlokes says even with the Kabbalah's tinus. This is even more than an Amud Aleph. An Amud Aleph we're talking about without a Kabbalah.
That's a big Machlokes, whether it's with right. It's a Machlokes.
Rav, what are the words of Rav is Leiva Adam Tani Soy. It's a real Tanis, no? And Shmuel says it's another Kibbutz Alei. It seems to be a Kabbalah here, even according to Shmuel. Shmuel saying even with the Kabbalah, it's not
Yeah,
considered
so
a
that's a
Tainus.
Machlokes. Yeah, that's a yes, it's a
Wow.
Machlokes whether yeah. Ikata Amri, or some say it's a different way. Amar of Yudam Rav, Loiv Adam Tanisu Perei, a person could borrow on this fast and pay it back. Amrisa made the Shmuel. And when I said it in front of Shmuel, Amr Li Pshita, he said, Pashit. Loye El Nether, it's a nether. Nether, Miloi Matzi Boy L'Shlumi Amezel, can't you pay back and go and do it another time? The Machar Uliyam Achrina on the next day, the next day or the day after that. Right? So meaning just because he decided to do a fast doesn't mean he has to do it that day. He can pay it back. Fine. Rabbi Shua Breder Rav Idi Ikla Lebei Ravasi. Right? So he traveled to the Ravasi of Dulei Egla Tilsa. And they made him an Egla Tilsa calf that's 1/3. Right? Parrots means that the third, it's two pshatim here. It's either the third born, right? Or it's what was the other one?
Good meat.
No, it was a third. No, it was only a third. It was grown a third, meaning it wasn't too fat and it wasn't too skinny. It was just right, right? But whatever it is, it was good meat. So Amrulay said to them, "Litam mar meeting, taste some of our good meat." Amrulay betanisi yasim. I'm sitting in a fast. Amrulay said to him, "But lights of mar forest. So borrow against the fast and pay it back a different time." Don't you hold like Rav, who says that you're allowed to borrow from your fast and pay it back? No, it's a tainas chaloim. It was because I had a bad dream. Omar Rabba bar Machsia, Omar Rav Chama bar Guria, Omar Rav Yofa tainas l'chaloim ke'esh l'na'aris. Fasting for a bad dream is like putting fire on flax, which means it'll burn it up real fast and real easy. So that's why he's fasting. So that's a strict fast. You don't want to be messing with that. So he didn't want to break his fast. But you have to fast that day. Meaning the day you have the dream, you have to fast. Which is interesting that because you were not makabel the fast. Yeah. But anyways, we paskin that you don't you're not mechuyev to fast. From here it sounds like you might be mechuyev to fast if you have a bad dream, and we don't paskin like that. Even on Shabbos, if you have a bad dream Friday night, then even on Shabbos you can fast. But the problem is you're not allowed to fast on Shabbos. Right? So my takante, what's a takana? Leisir tanisa letanisa. What you have to do is now, because you fasted on Shabbos for a bad dream, now you got to fast during the week because you fasted on Shabbos. Right? So that was a bad dream, man. You're gonna end up with two fasts because of the bad dream. One, Shabbos. The other one, because you fasted on Shabbos.
The person's fasting to nullify the dream, or because it's mitzar him.
I thought to nullify the dream.
No? That's also a bad dream to fast 2 times.
That is a bad dream. Maybe mean that's meaning that's he's being Makayim the bad dream, Rabanan. That's what you're saying. Very good. I hear that. But that's also this week's parsha with the dreams. No shine. That's a tak.
Yeah.
Very good.
And next week again.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the Mishna. Right, so if these days pass, when they were not answered, meaning it still hasn't rained. So Bezdin Geizrin Gimel Tainis Acheres. Bezdin makes 3 more Tainis. Halatzibur. Eichlin V'shaisim Yivayim. You're allowed to eat and drink when it's still day. Right? But after Shkia, you're not allowed to drink.
Of the night
before. What?
Of the night before.
No, the night before you're not allowed. Only me ba'id yon.
Eichlin V'shaisim V'ayid yon. You're allowed till Shkia of the day before you're allowed to eat.
Yeah, you fast at night. You start at night.
Well,
right, but the question is, when does night start? Okay, whatever it is, but I don't know.
You eat and drink the day before till Shkia.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, till it starts night. Yeah.
I'm saying, but why would you think not?
Right.
Yesterday is not the fast. The day before was not the fast. Today is the fast.
Right. Was what Pshat.
So made that it starts at
it's
night
just
as
a way of
opposed to
telling you that
starting
you have to
as
stop.
opposed to starting in the morning. It starts at
Correct.
night, like by Tisha
It's
B'Av.
not just whether to start Ben Hashmashas.
So that's part of it. Maybe it means ben hashmashas, maybe, but pashas means by shkia, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's an interesting way of saying it. Why not just say the fast starts at shkia?
You have an answer?
No, I don't have an answer. It could be so. Some
the
want to say
children
like
should
David's
ask.
saying. Some want to say that David's saying because you would think maybe it starts by tseis, right? Maybe it starts by tseis. The Gemara, the Mishna is telling you no, it starts by shkia. All right, vasurim b'malacha. You're not allowed to do malacha. Uberachitza, no washing of a sicha, and no anointing of a migilas, a sandal. You're not allowed to wear shoes. Uvatasha shamita, b'noilan as a merchatzos, and they lock up the bathhouses. Meaning this is like a regular Tisha B'Av. It's a regular Tisha B'Av. Avru elu v'lo nenu. Then if these days pass and they still haven't been answered, meaning it still hasn't.
Bueller.
I don't hear anything.
And I think the daf is over.
Oh.
I sent him a message. We'll see what happens.
Oh, I didn't realize it's late already. That's why 9:45 it automatically goes off.
Parrots is very busy.
You remember that? We had the free one, 40 minutes. That was the best. That would have been the best. We should go back to that, Ron Kaplan.
Parents, if we would have that, we would have 1,000 people on the daf.
Oh yeah, that was the best. Gershon, you would love it. You'd be begging to upgrade.
What did I miss?
And we were reminiscing about the old days when we had the free Zoom and it ended at 40 minutes.
Oh, very good. Anyways, I'm sorry. I think I hopped right away, so that it went off. I guess in Muncie sometimes the internet stops working. Fine. So b'sheni matinim chashecha. On the second, on Monday, they open it, they lean it literally. When it gets dark, they have to open the
No,
doors.
Tzvi you're 2 lines past where you cut off.
Gershon, we would have made it up already.
You can't. Hello. You read those 2 lines of the Mishnah?
That's what it was?
Yeah. The Shabbos Shein Yud Gimel.
Oh, so, okay. Bezdin guys when I land Oid Sheva, Shein Yud Gimel Taanis and Alatzibur. They added another 7, so it makes 13. These are more than on the first ones. Because these they do truas, which is going to be a machlokes, whether that means they did shayfer or it means they did anenu. They lock up the stores. But b'sheni on Monday, matin and chashecha, they lean the doors open of the stores a little bit because they got to allow people to buy food. People have to live. And on Thursdays, they allowed the stores to be open because they needed to push it for covered Shabbos. If these days pass and they don't get answered, then they stop all business or they make business less. The binyan, they don't let construction, no planting, they don't allow chasanas and engagements. Nobody's allowed to even greet each other. I mean, it's bad news if it got to this point, right?
Sounds like
COVID lockdown. COVID lockdown.
Exactly right. It's like people who are angered to the makkah, meaning Hashem's angry at them. Hayichidim, the yichidim chayzin wasanan achayatza Nisan, and the individuals they fast until Nisan finishes, right? Yatza Nisan, once Nisan passed, v'yardu sham, and then the rain fell. That's a siman klala. If it took that long to start raining, that's a curse. It's a simon for a Christian. We had this before. Is today not the time when you're supposed to gather, right? And then it's going to be raining. So that's essentially that's the fast. So let's see. So Dr. Gemara, or frankly, Gemara Bishlam Kulu is to Tainuk, right? So all of them they have Tainuk, right? Rechitza, Sicha, Tasha Shamita. That's all enjoyable. Ava Malacha, Tsaru, work. That's Tsar. Why are you not allowed to do Malacha? That's pain. Right? Why you should be able to do work. I mean, I'm assuming most of the Olam thinks that work is pain.
Well, it keeps your mind off the fast, and then you're not concentrating on actually fasting.
Well, what's the one shot? What's the one shot? Malach working is.
Why should you not work?
If a person's working,
it's a pain to work. Why shouldn't you be able?
What do you mean?
I understand, but it's painful. What?
If you don't have work, it's even more painful.
That could be, but it's still painful to work. It's not enjoyment. So let's see. Right?
So Yaakov, if a guy would get enjoyment, then according to that, you wouldn't be able to drive. If a guy would get enjoyment driving, you wouldn't be able to drive to the country on the Taanis either.
And maybe you would have to, right? Or like Rabanan said, you go to a Met game, stuff like that. Yeah.
Who tells you how to drive?
It's like kid. Anyway, so the Gemara says kid shoot time. Karu atzeres, call an atzeres, a gathering. Isvus came and gather the older people. Atzeres like Shavuos, ma atzeres also basiyas melacha, just like Shavuos and Shmini atzeres is also a melacha. Af Taanis also basiyas melacha, so Taanis is also also. Someone asks, Ima atzeres ma'urta, af Taanis na ma'urta. So if atzeres is also from the night before, so the Taanis should also be a night before, meaning going on the earlier fast, not the later fast. The later fasts are also the night before. I understand it. I was explained it from Rav Yirmiyah. It's similar to the gathering of Kenim, just like the gathering of Kenim is during the day. The time is also during the day. Someone says if that's the case, so maybe they should only stop working in the afternoon. Why should we also the whole day? It's a proof that in the morning, that's when people get together. Right? Fine. So the Gemara says, what did they do on the fast day? From the morning until halfway through the day, they were busy with the town stuff. Taking care of making sure everything is on order in the town. The next quarter of the day, they read from the Torah and the Haftarah like we do on a fast day. This is why we lay on a fast day. And the rest of the day they daven. They read for a quarter of the day, and for a quarter day, and they bow down to Hashem, their God. So the Gemara says, wouldn't you switch it? Shouldn't you say that the davening and the Torah should be first, and then the rest of the day be busy with the town's things? So my answer is, don't think that. And to me, they gathered all the people who cared about Hashem from the Golus. And at the end, by Mincha, I got up from my Taanis, and then I spread out my hands to Hashem. Right? So you see that the davening takes what's it called? It takes the last part of the day up, not the first part of the day. Okay, so that's basically what happened. So again, they were busy with the town's tzrachim in the beginning of the day. Then they did the mincha, and they did haftarah, and then they spent the rest of the day learning and davening. All right, fine. Okay, we'll stop there. Yeah, sorry for the delay.
Who's wedding? Churn? You at the Churn wedding?
No, I didn't go to Churn. I'm by Feller and Steinwurzel. Not getting married to each other, two different weddings.
Yeah.
But I didn't go in yet, so I'm gonna go ahead in there now.
Mazel tov.
All right.
It's Yager.
Thank you.
You saw the Rashi Ma'ainin B'mili D'Masa? The last two words of Rashi. Amazing. Rashi says, Ma'ainin B'mili D'Masa, it's a tshuva thing, right? So they looked into whether there was Gezel V'chamas in the town. And then Rashi finishes off with Mefaisin Oisan. Basically to be Michael.
Is that?
Not to make him pay him. Mefaisin Oisan.
That went over my head. I hear.
Yeah. Amazing. This is where the Mishnah Berurah gets it from. The acre of the Mishnah Berurah in Hilchos Tishma. The acre of the Taanis is tshuva.
Abada.
Not the Taanis, it's not the thing. That's why the first thing they do is Ma'ayin B'mili D'Masa. Tshuva is the acre. Then you can have Kriyas HaTorah and whatever.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, Shikayach.
All right. Okay. Sag gesund.
Gute Nacht.